Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Now I must admit this is probably going to be a shorter one, because as I mentioned earlier today, I shan't lie, I'm a little short of breath. It's getting better, but I won't pretend like it isn't a bit of a problem. I've managed to mitigate the worst of the pain, but it's rather uncomfortable. But I was quite looking forward to this, so I'm going to keep doing it. At least for a time. I can at least do a couple of hours, I think, at worst. We'll see. But yeah, welcome to this week's Chill Chat. Temporary title. I'm thinking about things, titles and that. So, bear with on the title, that one. But this week, I wanted to talk about a few things. And it's a couple of things, really. As the title suggests, we're going to dabble in a little bit of Warhammer because I'm obsessed. And I'm always interested to talk about Warhammer stuff. Various bits of news I've seen around VTubing and other places. And some brain rot I've encountered, because if I have to suffer, then so do you. So, how should we start this? Let's just get the worst out of the way, shall we? I was recently on YouTube watching a video by... what was the chap's name? Tozy, that's it. Tozy. Some of you may... I imagine more of you will know him than me, probably. But, I have to be frank. The video I was watching, now it's nothing to do with him. He did a perfectly good job. What was the problem? Well, I had to be reintroduced to the NPC trend. And, needless to say, I hated it. Who thought of this as a thing? I mean, seriously, who the fuck thought this was a good idea? And who's giving money for this? These people make money doing that. I mean, I'm not even gonna blame the people making the money, because you know what? You make your money, alright? And you know what? It's hardly the worst trend. It actually doesn't hurt people, injure people, or do anything horrible at all. Which I think is really nice, because going off most of these trends, they're all absolutely fucking horrible. Ooh, fucking hell. Ow. Sorry if I start wincing in pain randomly, that's unfortunately what I've been dealing with for the last couple of hours. But I can at least breathe a bit more now, which is nice. The inhalers and everything else have helped. But I'm not going to go looking for the TikToker in question, but let's just say she's self-described as the queen of the NPC trend. And if you've seen the person doing the whole... I think the idea is that chat selects an emote for them to do, basically. Like, licks fingers, oh, ice cream tastes so good, right? Then they repeat that as many times as they're paid to. There are others. I think I saw one in the same video that was like a Miles Morales sort of impression, basically. I'll give them their due. They're dedicated to the fucking bit. Like, really dedicated to the bit. It's kind of scary how dedicated the Miles Morales one was, actually. Fucker had security trying to throw him out. He didn't care, he just kept going. He'd occasionally say something, but it was completely in character. For those who don't know and have had the pleasure of never knowing what this trend is, I'll try and explain it to you as best as I can, but I'll be completely honest with you. I don't get it myself. What I understand the entire premise of it is basically you act like an Oblivion NPC or a Skyrim NPC. So you just say inane lines constantly and repeatedly, or you have like a set dialogue and you reset. Like a video game NPC, you literally behave like that. I mean, where do I even start? Where do I even start with that? It's so just asinine. But you know what? I can't even be mad at the people doing this. Again, it doesn't even hurt people, which is nice. It's nice seeing an online trend that doesn't hurt people. But I will say, it's a little bit concerning how many people will pay money for this. Like, I at least understand certain places, certain sus sites, you know the ones I mean. Those ones, yeah. But, I get that to a point. You can get it for free, by the way. You can literally get it for free. But, that aside, it's a trend and a half, I suppose. And I think one of these people was making like $7 grand a month or something silly from this. Because people kept paying them to do these emotes. I will say, it's a real test in your ability to withstand long exposure to that level of cringe. And you know what, if you can, hey, you make your bank. But just remember you made that bed, and I hope you understand you have to lie in it now. But hey, so I've had to introduce that that brain-melting trend. Horrible with the wrong way to put it, because, well, it's not all that bad, honestly. It's just, wow, it's a thing. It's a thing, and I don't know if I like it. In fact, I somewhat dislike it, but I don't hate it like the devious lick or those other weird things. Whoever invented the devious lick belongs in a cage, I'm just gonna say it. They belong in a cage, throw you the key, chuck the cage in a river. It's for the betterment of us all. But, onto something a bit more positive, and a bit more, well, I was gonna say positive. Actually, yes, you know what, we'll go to more positive. A bit of something I discovered in the Arknights community. As some of you may know, I play Arknights, a sort of tower defense-esque mobile game. With many varying and wonderful anime characters and very depressing plot lines. Holy shit. The tears, you feel them. There was someone called River Studio, I believe, who got into a bit of fire with the fact that they were apparently holding OSTs behind a paywall. Now, I didn't know this because River Workshop, I tend to watch them occasionally for like early releases of people's voice lines, their characters' voice lines. I'm quite interested to hear what a character who, for the longest time, have only been speaking in Japanese sounds like in English, because quite often they give them a regional accent as well. So, for example, like a character like Penance has an Italian accent, whereas someone like Bagpipe has a Scottish accent, which everyone was very happy that she got a Scottish accent. But River Workshop apparently had a paywall for in-game OSTs on loop for an hour. Now, as you might imagine, this got some people rather annoyed, rightfully so, because these are in-game bits of music. They don't own the music at all, actually. It's kind of wacky. But you know what? There was a positive end to this. I promised positivity and I gave it to you. The positivity, the good end to this, is they actually owned up to what they did and went, I hear you, I understand you, I've deleted those videos, I'm going to stop doing that now. And they actually did stop. A content creator online admitted they were doing wrong, apologised, and is actually trying to make amends to the community they upset. I mean, where do we even go from here? Where do we even go from here? That's pretty amazing. I think we can agree. I think we can agree that's pretty amazing, and honestly, a bit of a W. A hell of a W, I think. So, that was a pretty nice bit of news to see. I won't lie. Now, a bit of some meaty matters. I'm going to slightly gush about Warhammer slightly here, but I'm not going to touch much on the Femstories thing, because I'll be honest, that debate gets so fucking toxic. What I will say about it is this. Is there any explicit law that says there can't be any? No. It states that a lot of the 10,000 were taken from the sons of defeated nobles, but I guess that doesn't mean to say that over the course of the Crusade, the 10,000's numbers weren't replaced by, sons and daughters, potentially. From what I understand, the gene crafting process is very different for them, so it doesn't require the glands and various other bits that work best with male subjects, like the Space Marines have. My grievance of that whole debate is it just turns into a shit-flinging contest of one side of hardcore, diehards of the law who don't believe GW in the slightest. And to be fair, the way Games Workshop said it was a thing was really dumb. It was in reply to a bot account, and they basically came out and said, oh yeah, they were always there. When they may have been mentioned in a Black Knight library book, and even then it's kind of open to interpretation. So it wasn't a very good way of introducing it, personally. I'd like to stress I have no issue with the implementation, by the way. As far as them being a thing. Them being the Emperor's perfect humans. I get it. I feel the reasons they were introduced were more to try and make money off of groups of people, rather than actually enhancing the lore. And maybe trying to have the Imperium mirror our more progressed society is a bad thing. What I mean by that is the Imperium's supposed to be a warning. The Imperium is supposed to be this very satirical, very dour look on what could have been. It's supposed to take the worst parts of the British Empire, extrapolate them, add so much religious dogma, so much bureaucracy, so much oppression that it's just the truly worst form of human society, degradation of what was potentially a beautiful golden age. The Imperium's founding was on blood and violence, and it's maintained through blood and violence. There should be nothing admirable about the Imperium. There are bits of the Imperium that are nice, yes, but at its core, the Imperium is a rotten, corrupt beast, and should be a cautionary tale. I fear that making it align with real world and a more enlightened society takes away from that a bit, because, and I'm only echoing points that other people have mentioned, admittedly, here. I'm no big thinker, but I must admit I follow that viewpoint too, that, to me, the Imperium shouldn't be this, it shouldn't be like us. I shouldn't be able to step outside and compare my real life to the Imperium of Man. The only time that should ever happen is in some disgusting reality where things go so wrong. We're talking about a setting where scientific discoveries just don't happen. New innovations just don't exist. because it's an empire built off the corpse of something greater than itself. The technologies of yesteryear are lost. The Leagues of Votan are a good example of many of the technologies ancient humanity had, and even then, that's not even close to the shit they had. The Men of Iron were a mistake they made, but the technology the Men of Iron were built from was so advanced that other alien empires that were far larger at the time were brought to their knees by them as well. You know, there's a reason the Men of Iron are feared. The technology ancient humanity had was something else. So, needless to say, I don't think it's good that they seem to want to make the Imperium the good guys. Because you shouldn't want to be like the Imperium. Like, as much as the Tau get memed on, right? As much as the Tau get a lot of shit for being overly the good guys, there should... I don't think it hurts to say that a young, naive race should be portrayed as at least looking morally good for the most part, in comparison to the Imperium. Like, in another setting, the Tau would probably be somewhat oppressive villains because of how strict the greater good is. You know, every action you take must be for the greater good. But the thing is, they did look really good in comparison to things like the Imperium and the Dark Eldar. I mean, anything looks good compared to the Dark Eldar, for God's sake. But to look back in the Imperium here, the Imperium in every aspect of it is such a backwards, messed up thing. And that's what's really appealing about it. Because you kind of get to wander into this setting where it's just terrible in many regards. You know, it's grimdark in the sense that if it were reality, it'd be truly horrifying. But it isn't. It's a fantastical setting made up to be this thing, to be this cautionary tale, which, you know, takes a little bit from British humour in a sense. You know, this very dry humour that we have. Because, you know, it's a British-made thing, at the end of the day. I hope that doesn't upset any Americans who enjoy it. I'd like to hope that you enjoy materials that, you know, for irrespective of, you know, where they come from in a sense, to a point at least. Otherwise, you're going to have a real hard time with fantasy because a lot of, Lord of the Rings, for example, I believe. Actually, what was Tolkien? Was he American, actually? No. J.R. He's British, yeah. Tolkien's British, so yeah. I hope the fact that that's the fact doesn't upset your enjoyment of. Hey, Epic. I see your name right. Epic Mindy. Welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you. Apologies if this one's probably going to be a little shorter than I normally do, but I was saying before, my asthma's been playing up a little bit, let's just say. So I'm going to see how it goes. Play it by ear, as it were. But I do hope you're enjoying yourself, and please make yourself comfy. You're more than welcome here. Where was I? Ah, yeah. But yeah, I hope they keep the Imperium as it is. That, you know, in that kind of somewhat dark place. Because I think that's where it is most effective, to me. So that's kind of my stance on the Femstones thing. I don't hate the fact that they exist. I dislike how they were implemented, and I don't think that making the Imperium resemble a more enlightened, more moral society is a good thing for the setting. Because I don't think the Imperium should be. I think it should be the thing we look at and go, wow, aren't we much better than that? Aren't you glad that society's not like that? That's what it should be. That's just my opinion. You can have it, or have a different opinion, that's fine. Look, it's an open place. The other... Well, some of the big things, one related, obviously. A lot around Age of Sigmar at the moment. I have to admit, that was a storm I was not expecting. Obviously, I'm looking forward to 4th edition to a point. I mean, the Skaven are getting a big load of things, which, as a definitive Skaven enjoyer, I am very pleased to say my little rat boys are finally getting the love and the models they deserve. Total War Warhammer should have shown Games Workshop how much people love the Skaven and their antics. But obviously, excuse me. But obviously they, the GW finally caught up. Obviously, the Sigmarines are getting a whole new thing too, which, that's to be expected. Though, I kind of wish they'd stop putting them in the launch boxes. Let me explain, because they've grown on me, the Sigmarines have. They have grown on me. The newer designs are better. 110% better. There's an appeal to the chunky look, don't get me wrong, and I've seen some amazing paint schemes. But what I will say is they definitely made their own problem in the fact that they've made redundant units. I think the Space Marines are going to start having this issue too. Well, they already have had this issue, to be honest. There's so many units do the same damn job. Let's be honest here. Infiltrators and Intercessors are almost the same bloody unit. They're really close. It's like, so close, it's silly. And I just think, why would you make two units so close together like that? Phobos armor's supposed to be scouting, right? So the fact that you made a frontline infantry troop of that, okay. Why, though? I don't hate the look of them, by the way. I love the look of them. And, if people like playing with them, great. I'm not stopping you. You should be able to play with them. What I'm saying is that their role is way too close to Intercessors in many regards. Now, they have some extra MacGuffins, like they can scout move and they're harder to hit at range and that kind of thing, and they can mess up with deep strikes. But, they do a very similar job as far as being like core infantry. The only difference in Phobos armor. And heavy Intercessors are just Intercessors in Gravis armor. Like, really? That's hardly any different. That's really no different to me. I mean, really, really think about it. They're just are way, way too similar. And it doesn't help anything. I think the rocket launcher guys are also not very well. They don't look very good. But that's a whole other thing. Back to Age of Sigmar. The fact they did the whole Sacrosanct Chamber dirty is a real tragedy to me. Some of those units I think were quite unique. The magical cavalry I thought was really cool, and they should have kept them. The frontline guys, they're basically just better liberators, really. They're liberators of magical stuff. But, they looked really cool, and I think the fact they got rid of them, barely that old units, really. The models are very new. And for some people, that was their army. Now, yes, you can count things as for a lot of them. But, why would you gut the entire 2nd edition of Stormcast? Including the artillery piece, by the way. That's their only artillery. Now, a lot of the first line stuff are getting redone. But the 2nd edition stuff is just being thrown. Like, completely. If you have one of those, you have an out-of-print model. Which, yes, you can use as, various things. But I think that's really sad that a lot of players lost that army, in a way. Speaking of lost armies, holy shit. Beasts of Chaos, I am so sorry for you guys. You guys have had it so rough. Beastman fans, you have my deepest condolences, by the way. Let me be clear to you guys at Beastman fans, I am so sorry that they do you so dirty. like, it's not your fault that you really enjoy a primal, savage chaos force that are remotely completely dissimilar from the human followers of chaos. And you just get thrown around so much. I mean, you've already had to rebase your models once for Age of Sigmar. Old World comes back, and then they just throw you out of Age of Sigmar as well. It's like, Games Workshop, we know you consider them the red-headed stepchildren of your Rangers, but wow, you really do consider them the red-headed stepchildren. I mean, what do I even say to that? It's just, I don't know. That was dirty. That was just dirty what you did to them. I mean, yeah, they're going to be okay for another year, but I mean, I don't like that. I don't like how they did that at all. 9 years of service in the setting, and all of a sudden, nope, you're gone. The only way you're sticking around is just part of another army. So if you like Zangors and that kind of thing, well, if you've got a lot of those, you can at least run the Siege faction, right? If you liked Slangors, well, you only had one unit and a Underworld team. You can at least run the Slash faction, but like, it's not much of a thing. And there's probably going to be Khorne and Nurgle ones at some point, I imagine. So they still exist. Beasts of Chaos do. The Beastmen are still a thing, but for some reason they just threw it out because Games Workshop don't want to supply that army anymore, and they're probably not going to have nearly as much stock in for them. And it's just like, come on. Beastmen fans already have it done dirty, and they're now being thrown to a system that, let's be honest, is not going to get the support it needs to flourish. It's already had half the armies that were in its setting cut out entirely. And truly, I just think they are just leaving them out to pasture. And it's not great, because they've already domed a setting once. You know, Fantasy was already put to the sword once before, because, well, it was making money. And a variety of other factors, but probably because it wasn't making money is the main one. Why it wasn't making money is a vast number of reasons. Like, look, it's a very complicated system in comparison to Sigmar. Current day Sigmar is pretty simple. The new Sigmar will remain to be seen, but I hope it doesn't take too much from current 40k. I don't know. I must admit, Heresy has been quite appealing to me, because I kind of am starting to like the idea of narrative stuff and things that promote kit bashing. For those who follow me on Twitter, I recently kit bashed a Primaris Phobos lieutenant. A lieutenant, should I say? Well, lieutenant, that's means the same thing. Just being pedantic. But that lieutenant, I, built from bits. Obviously, he was originally a Reaver lieutenant. Now, I fully admit, I kit bashed him because I wanted the rules of a Phobos lieutenant. But I didn't want to go buy the Phobos strike force to get him, so I just kit bashed him. Easy enough to do, right? Chop off the carbine gun hand from one of the Reaver arms that I had, because I bought a box of Reavers too. Put that on the hand of the knife. Swap out the pistol hand with a knife hand. I did a reverse knife because why not? I decided for some flair I'd stick a Black Templar. These aren't Black Templars, I'm running them as a Salamander's successor. But I took a Black Templar backpack from the upgrade kit, put the little pole thing on, scraped Black Templar symbol off, removed the Purity Seal, stuck a Salamander's Purity Seal on there with a little hammer. Put that on him. Put some skulls, particularly Tau, Kroot, and some human skulls, because I wanted him and his chapter to be quite involved in anti-Tau engagements, so a lot of operating near the edge of Tau space. So their primary targets would be Tau, their auxiliaries, and any humans that would follow them. I did also buy the Citadel Skull Pack because it's amazing. One of the best things they ever did. So many little skulls. If I ever make World Eaters, I'm going to have a few of those dotted around for obvious reasons. Speaking of marked legions, by the way, there was a little something confirmed in the one of the most recent books, actually. One of the recent books had a whole thing of like a Primaris Emperor's Children. So Fulgrim had created perfect like Emperor's Children using pure gene seed from before the heresy, before they were blighted, basically. So the purest form of the stuff, and he used it to make really powerful Chaos Space Marines. So I think, and I hope, considering Emperor's Children are an index, they're not actually in the main Chaos Space Marine book, I'm hoping that's a sign that we're going to get an Emperor's Children Codex, much like the Death Guard and Thousand Suns and World Eaters. And they're going to be a really elite Chaos Force. I think that would fit them quite nicely. Noise Marines are really powerful, but they're kind of like a weird subculture. Whereas Khorne Berserkers, Rubrics, and Plague Marines are the core of their legion, Noise Marines are not. From at least the Fabius Bile books, from what I understand, Noise Marines are still a subculture. So, if anything, I think I'd quite like it if Emperor's Children Legionaries were their own thing, and alongside Noise Marines, and they were more elite. These powerful, gene-crafted, perfect warriors. Because Slaanesh is all about perfectionism, right? Well, excess, right? And an excess of perfection would embody this rather nicely. Like having the Emperor's Children embody different bits of excess, because Slaanesh isn't just sex, drugs, and rock and roll, he is excess. The Emperor's Children were perfectionists, hence why they fell. That and the Lear Blade. Obviously, Fulgrim would get a model in plastic, but hopefully people like Eidolon would get a model. Eidolon's like his right-hand man, basically. He was like the second to the Primarch. He was a big deal back in the day. And he's still alive to this day, according to, if I remember from the Fabius Bile books. So, yeah, I'll avoid too many spoilers, but let's just say Fabius got to work, as he likes to do, and some Emperor's Children are bigger, stronger, faster. So, I'm hoping that's a sign of things to come. One can only hope, eh? Speaking of things to come, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but a design for something well, let's just say the initial sketch has been shown to me, and I've recently approved it, so that's coming along rather nicely. I won't go into too much detail on it, but, you know, stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say on that one. Swinging on back around, I did want to quickly talk about Total War Warhammer 3's newest DLC. And I'd like to just say it's looking really good. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It looks really, really good. I'm genuinely happy that, you know, they're doing this. Thrones of Decay has so much free and so much paid. It's just, there's a lot, and you can get the factions separately. I think that's amazing, and each faction they've shown so far is detailed and has lots of stuff to offer. You know, I don't feel like I'm being scammed here with what I'm getting. So, we're eating good. That's for damn sure. We're eating good. And obviously, I'm in talks with JD Moss about doing some Total War streams on Friday. I'm gonna try and fit in a test stream at some point to try and make sure that's all working. So, if you want to join me on random morning for some Total War, that'd be very nice, but don't worry if not. It's just a test stream. It's only been an hour or two just to make sure things are working. I want to make sure my model works nicely with it, because there's no point having such a beautiful model if it isn't going to work nicely with everything. Now, on top of all this, we also have the Stellaris DLC coming, and I'm really looking forward to the Machine Age. The Machine Age DLC is looking really good. The player crisis that they've just shown off is amazing. You get to make your own little Matrix think tank machine and essentially just vamoosh from the galaxy, breaking space-time and leaving a remnant of your empire behind that's a fallen empire. You get to also wield the power of the fallen empires as well. It's insane. And when you win, you don't even end the game. You can just carry on. If that's a different empire, or you can actually just play as your fallen version, which is very interesting to me. But, you know, the cyborg stuff, the various ascensions for machine empires being able to be nanotech or digital, the new machine ascension, just all the stuff they've added for it. It's what I wish Synthetic Dawn was, but it's fine. Synthetic Dawn has some banging music. Machine Age has ship sets. Every picture has variants now for the different species set pictures you can use when you're going more cybernetic or synthetic. You know, you got all that. It's amazing. It's really good, and genuinely, I'm quite looking forward to it. I intend to do a bit of a stream with that. I'm thinking of myself, JD Moss, and Onyx potentially getting into a stream for that. Though, if anyone wants to join us, I'm sure we can talk about it. But definitely, at least those two. In a no-holds-barred, just fun stream. I'm going to try and get the game done in one stream, but who knows. Hence, I've basically just said, look, if you want to go aggressive, because we don't intend to have this stream going for too long anyway. That's the plan, but we'll see. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Let me just quickly sip some water. There we are. Trying to move in a way it doesn't stretch the model too much, but obviously it's my mic has to be in certain positions and all that. And my water's a little bit further away from me, so it doesn't spill onto my keyboard or anything like that. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that DLC. Obviously, down the road, got Space Marine 2. Can't come fast enough, honestly. I'm actually quite looking forward as well to the next couple of days, because obviously I'm going to be replaying. Well, I say replaying. I've never actually finished ODST. Halo 3 ODST, I played it a long time ago. Never finished it, and I want to go back and play it. I've been really enjoying going back and playing games that I used to play. So, what I'm thinking, Halo 3 ODST, if I finish that nice and quickly on heroic difficulty, then Halo Reach is quite tempting. Halo Reach is quite special to me, actually, so maybe I'll leave that to last. I don't know. Or maybe I'll say I'm going to play Halo 3 ODST because I want to play Halo 3 ODST. It's one of the most unique Halos, other than Halo Wars, of course. But Halo 3 ODST is really cool. I like it a lot, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I do hope you are as well. obviously, if we give that too quickly, then I'll jump on another Halo. I'll go through the Master Chief Collection, bit by bit. I think that'd be quite nice. I love the Halo universe, by the way. That's another sci-fi franchise. I can't speak. Franchise that I just adore. I love it, and honestly, I'm really, really hopeful for just any good things for that franchise. What I really want, what I'd love, is if we get some stuff set mid-Covenant War and just show off the true, like, just devastation of it, and the lengths the UNSC had to go to try and eke out a victory or survival. Like, some of the maneuvers the Navy and that would do. Like, I'd love a game where you get to control their Navy. I want to be able to just do ridiculous maneuvers with halberd destroyers, trying to outmaneuver and destroy Covenant cruisers. I really want to be able to do that. It may never happen, but I'd love it if it did. Genuinely. Would love it if it did. Because it's just some of the stuff, like Captain Keyes made I think a maneuver that's now called the Keyes Loop, where he basically slingshotted a halberd destroyer around the gravity of a fucking planet to then one bang a pair of ships. I think just because the halberd's got 2 macro cannons, so it's like they're the macro cannons. Yeah, big like railguns basically, just punch through stuff. These massive tungsten shells. I want to be able to pull that sort of shit off. It'd be amazing. More stuff as like ODSTs as well would be really cool. Because genuinely, I think the idea that's quite interesting. Obviously stuff with Spartans, of course, because, you know, Spartans are like one of the big selling points of Halo. Or even a human utilizing stuff like the prototype suit. The prototype suit just sounds cool. Gives the maneuverability beyond a Spartan, with firepower of a small tank. It's a mech suit, essentially. It's like a power armor suit, but it's a fully, human usable one. If you're familiar with the Halo Legends animated shorts, there's one in that called the Prototype. Actually, I think was it Ghost? I can't remember what it was called exactly, but it was a really interesting one because it essentially showed a human using a really powerful warsuit to just decimate an entire just Covenant battalion. It wasn't even fair, the kind of shit they were pulling off. It really wasn't even fair. And I just think that we need more of that. We need that playable in a game. Give me just dire situations in Halo any day of the week. I'd quite like that. But that won't be time soon. The only space game I think coming I know of that's close to that is Homeworld 3, which could be interesting. I mean, Homeworld's a fun little franchise, I must admit. I do quite like it. Slight change in subject. I don't know. I assume you've all seen this by now, but I'm gonna go on a bit of an AI rant here. I don't just mean like AI art. I mean just a rant on AI in general. Because, to be perfectly honest with you, as someone in the IT industry, I find most of these AI stuff to be just really annoying. Here's the thing. You get a lot of these people in corporate positions who'll go, ooh, AI. They'll be really all over it. And it's like, you have absolutely no understanding of what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about, and furthermore, you have no comprehension of how far AI is off actually doing half the stuff that you want it to do. Like, where I currently work, there's a corporate piece of shit who wants to utilize AI irrespective of layoffs. And I don't think he quite clicks that if it gets to the position where it can do my job, they won't need him either. But he doesn't care, he's got money. But, you know, I just think, like, it's a new fad, and the thing is, it's a fad that's not going to come into fruition for a long time. Like, can AI slowly get better at art? I mean, if it keeps stealing artwork, yeah, I guess eventually get better. It's just theft. And here's the thing, and a reminder to anyone who does use AI art, by the way, you can't copyright AI art because a human didn't make it. That's a precedent. You can't copyright it. It's not your property. If it wasn't human made, it can't have a copyright on it. Ironically, that was because Peter tried to sue someone for selling an art made by a monkey, and the court turned around and said, hey, that's a monkey, that's an animal. That animal can't hold copyright. Only a human can. AI aren't human, so, you know, maybe one day they'll be self-aware and intelligent enough to have human rights and that kind of stuff. Great. I don't know if I'll live long enough to see that, but who knows? Who the hell knows? But as of right now, it's not copyrightable. And frankly, you know, it might look nice in all some respects, but I would rather work with a human artist who can actually understand what I want and make exactly what I'm after. For very high quality. Most of the people who bitch and moan just don't want to pay these people. And it's like, just, you know. The thing is, like, it's a skill. It's a skill to do art. I don't know. Why can't we have, like, the thing that bothers me as well is we keep trying to push AI to be used for, like, replacing artists and animators and that kind of thing. I just think, I'm sorry, why can't we have AI do things like replace dangerous mining jobs? Why can't we have AI-driven machines that go into mines and do that kind of thing? Or, you know, are used to the disaster like situation, like, you know, a volcano going off, like try and stem the tide of lava so people don't have to do that. Or, you know, mine diffusal bots, you know, automated bots that just go around and just diffuse old mines and that kind of thing in various countries. There's just so many implementations for machines that are much more helpful to us as a people. You know, even to some degree delivery stuff. You know, I don't want to put delivery people out of the job here, but I could see that coming to a pass sooner or later. I mean, I'll tell you one that will happen. Truck drivers. I hope it doesn't for your guys' sake, because you're going to have a rough time of it otherwise, but I think it will inevitably happen when they, you know, when they can get automated trucks. It'll happen. But at the minute, it's the new crypto, it's the new thing, everyone's pushing it, and I just think, give it another couple of years and you'll be pushing something new. There'll be a new kind of internet net 2.3.0 whatever thing, and you'll forget about AI. Like, I think like AI, at least I can understand why that could become a thing. When it becomes a proper thing, it will be revolutionary. But then quantum computing will do that too. I mean, I don't know what you guys know about that kind of thing, but without getting too technical here, let's just say it's going to reinvent the field quite a bit, potentially. We're all going to have to relearn the rules. Oh, and also quantum computers can crack passwords like nothing else. It's terrifying. So let's hope it's quite a while let's hope the security standards catch up first before they become commercially available, because, wow, that would be really bad. There's already a few of you who don't put good passwords in place. I don't even want to imagine what's going to happen when quantum computers can just crack even your half-decent password now. But hopefully that isn't anytime soon. You never know. You never know. Apologies if I seem a bit drained of energy today. As I say, my voice has not been 100% at its best. Speaking of bots or people just kind of being bot-like, I must admit, the amount of random sort of friend requests I seem to be getting from all sorts of people who, some of them I'm sure are legit people and nice enough people, but I've had a few random ones from people trying to sell me stuff. I'm just like, please don't sell me things. Please no. No selly. I don't want, I don't know. I've never quite understood this tactic where you go up to someone and then be like, hey, can I make something for you? Like, just, look, I appreciate if you're a new artist, you've got to get your portfolio up, right? You've got to do that. Because a portfolio is what gets you stuff. The problem is, there's a lot of these bots, or I assume they're bots. Some of them might be people, but a lot of them are definitely bots. They have such a, like, they just steal art, a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And it's like, you can tell. Some people can do multiple styles, but at least in their portfolio there's a consistency. You can still tell it's that person. The person who made my PNG tuber could do quite a few different styles, but you could tell it was all his work. And you could see similarities between different bits of art he's done in that style. My original PNG tuber is actually on there somewhere. This looks a bit different to this. More of a panther lady than a wolf. That one. But, let's just say, you can tell it's all his work. Some of these people come in and will show me their portfolio, which I can't find anywhere else somehow, magically. And it's got like 3 or 4 VTuber models on there that I know for a fact they didn't make, because I've literally looked at the people who make their models. I'm like, come on. Do you think I'm that stupid? Do you think I'm that stupid that I would believe you made that when I look at the rest of your portfolio? And it's like, come on, that isn't your work. Like, I don't know. It's always the same grift as well. I'm just thinking, you're really not helping yourself, because people are getting better. Like, what you're doing is what 20 other people have done. And after, like, the second or third one, you kind of get a pretty good impression of who they are instantly. They have the same 3 lines, the same, like... And sometimes they mix it up a bit, actually. Sometimes they'll try and get close to you and try and, like, suddenly, ask you for stuff, or suddenly, like, they'll ask you questions, and it's like getting buddy with you, and then all of a sudden it's, hey, can I do something for you? And it's like, no, you approached me in a friendly manner to try and make me buy things from you. That's scummy and weird. I don't like it. And like, if I want to work with an artist, I'll approach the artist. If they've got comms open and commissions available, I'll go to the artist and go, hey, can we work together? It's like, I've already got enough social anxiety as is. Do you think I'm going to suddenly not have that anxiety and, suddenly just go, oh, I'm just gonna, just all of a sudden have no anxiety and just go, oh yeah, I'll work for you. No, sorry, that's not how it is. It's weird and manipulative. I don't like it. And no one else does either, by the way. Like, seriously, these kinds of people are annoying and a blight. I call them bots, but I think some of them are actual people. Very bot-like behaviour, mind, but still, they're apparently people. Low lives, but still. But yeah. Got a couple of those with Discord, which is very annoying, but hey, it's alright. Thankfully, there are ways that they can't. I think I've got it set so people have to be my friend, like, send me shit, so it's fine. And my Twitter's on only if I message. You can only message me if I follow you, which is a lot of people I follow, in fairness, but I tend to be careful. I put it this way, I realised pretty quickly if I followed someone who's one of those graphics designers, so-called. Their graphics design is varying, I've noticed. Again, the amount of times I've seen one of those people, and I'm just like, come on. This doesn't work. Like, you gotta let people come to you. You know, advertise yourself in a better way. I mean, I have a bit on my server for self-advertisement. Obviously, I have it on a majorly long slow mode, so I don't want it to be spammed by the same person. And that's to allow various people to advertise themselves. And that's my kind of little compromise I do for people who join my server. I give them that place to do that. And the reason I do is because others have done it, and I use that on other people's servers, so I only think it's correct, to me, personally, if I'm going to self-promote on your server that you've allowed self-promotion on, I will allow it on mine, so you can promote on mine. That, I think, is fair. So that's why I have that there. Anywhere else, self-promotion outside of that one particular chat is forbidden. You will be bonked severely. But no, the Cabral Manor's a perfectly nice place, though. Some nice people there, pretty chill. Couldn't ask for better, really. Apologies, I'm starting to sound a bit quieter and tenser. I'm still a bit sore. The breathing's gotten better. I feel like I should address that now, shouldn't I? I've put the subject off a bit too long, so let's address it. So, earlier today, and I think this was stress related. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but at my day job, they were quite insistent on me doing some work that I really didn't want to do. And some time ago, we'd got into a row about that particular work because I really hated doing it. Let's just say it involved interacting with a team that really just... they're peak inept. They're really inept, some of them. Some of them are really good people, but a lot of them are really inept, and they're ran by a pair of really inept people who have no idea what they're doing. Flat out. And dealing with those people is so stressful to me. I already don't like dealing with people the best times, like because of my day job. In this setting, it's nicer because people aren't coming to me demanding answers, They're coming to me to chill. Have a good time. Whereas at my day job, it's completely the opposite. They're coming to me because things are going wrong, the world's ending, the sky's falling. You know, if you work in tech support or any kind of customer service like role, you know the drill, right? You understand my pain. Needless to say, nearly 4.5 years of the shit starting to grate me a bit. So, having to do that for people who are supposedly IT, but aren't really IT, they might as well be end users, but they're not because they're developers. But it's painful. It's painful how they can't even do basic stuff, and they're like, oh, to be a developer, like, just to be clear, right? To be a developer is a high-paying job. It's not an easy job. It's a high-paying job and very technical. You'd think a bit of basic IT knowledge would come with that, like how to set up a screen. You'd be surprised to know that's not actually as common as you'd think it'd be. I'll have to get a lozenge at this rate. I'm drinking my water quickly. But, you know, obviously I've been setting up virtual machines for them. I'm not going to get too technical, but something I do quite a lot where I work is make virtual machines. It's one of the things I've done a lot and become alright at. Problem is, these ones are weird. They want weird shit on their systems that I don't understand. And today I was told, oh, stop the thing you're doing and just completely start from scratch, a whole new thing, get a whole new... And it just... The job became bigger and bigger, and that was my original problem. The original problem for me was the job stopped being build the machines to managing them, and this started to feel like that again, and I felt it, and all the issues I had before came crawling back. I suspect this gave me a bit of a panic attack with some of the script. I'm not sure for certain, but I think that may be what's happened. This then began to be very breathless. So I was there in work, struggling to breathe. Now, my asthma is normally quite under control, so let's just say when I call up my doctors for a asthma review, which I will do, actually, I haven't done it yet, I need to. Can't do it today, but I'm going to call them tomorrow and book one in. On the grounds of my asthma flared up. Because when your reliever doesn't help you, that's a problem. It kind of, the best way I can describe it is if you ever squeeze a stress ball, that feeling in your hands when it's like sort of a half-decent stress ball. Yeah, imagine that's your insides, your lungs in particular. That's like kind of like two hands on either lung just squeezing me. Wasn't nice. It's not entirely gone now. It's not entirely away, which ain't great, but hey. So, you know, it's not an ideal situation for little old me, that one. But I'm still breathing. I guess the positive way of putting it is it still hurts, so I'm clearly alive. That's the way I see it anyway. If it still hurts, then I am clearly still alive. And I'm sure I'll be okay in the long term. But, obviously, if there's any further problems, I will let you all know, of course, because it obviously will affect my ability to stream. But it's been a bit of a scary one today, I'm not going to lie. The week until now, tiring as it's been, mind-numbing as it's been, has been okay. But I have to say, like, it's been really rough today, as you might imagine. You know, having that kind of discomfort is not great. I admit I was rather stubborn. I could have accepted a ride home. I didn't. I took the bus back. I don't drive anyway at this point. Trying to sort that out, but instructors are a pain in the ass to get hold of at the minute. They really are. But... oh, excuse me. But yeah, it's one of them today. Today's been a strange out-of-body day, where I guess the best way to describe it is I kind of felt like I was in water. I felt like I was in water and just kind of floating there. it was a weird one. On the bus ride home, just sat there like that. Thankfully, the bus is actually lined up rather nicely for me, which is good, and not to sit there waiting too long. Hopefully my breathing's not coming up too much, but I am breathing a bit heavier than I normally would on the mic because it's still a little bit troublesome to breathe. A little bit, anyway. But hey, I'm alive. I'm doing as well as I can do, I suppose. But yeah, that's the general gist of it. I think stress might have made my asthma worse, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm still here, and I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Speaking of me and things I'm doing, hopefully this week we'll have a D&D session, so I will be able to give you a retelling. I hope you enjoyed the retellings. I've made that primer as a bit of something for my players, but also for all of you, because my concern is that I was talking about a setting that was a bit alien to you guys. It isn't like a traditional setting, it's one I made. So, let's just say I wanted to make something that was something that let you guys understand the world better, and hopefully when I mention something, it'll be a little bit more familiar. Now, that's not the only lore primer. I intend to do a couple of various bits and bobs, but I hope as well it kind of acts as a little help for people wanting to make their own settings too. Because I realised a goal I want for my YouTube content. I kind of want it to have utility. I want there to be something useful about it, right? Sorry, my voice went dodgy there. I kind of want it to have something, not just, not just to be there as a thing I make, but also to be a little something that I hope can be of use to people, right? I want there to be sort of like for example, the world building stuff, right? I want to make that so if someone's thinking, oh, where would I start world building? That's something that you can look at as a resource. For the retellings, it was something I made for my players because I wanted them to have a easy form of notes in a video format they could listen to that would help them remember what happened last time in case they were missing any notes, or in case it'd been a while and they wanted a refresher, or if they wanted a refresher in an earlier earlier session, or maybe a bit of lore that I simply didn't think was needed for that bit, right? Because I mentioned bits and bobs of lore that aren't necessarily prevalent or needed for the session, but I think for the video it's a bit more important. It gives you guys a bit more things to work with, and it also gives, also work with more things to watch, right? More sort of like let's say you want to know a bit more about the world or the setting, that gives it more to sort of chew on. And also for my players as well, it gives them a bit more in the setting in a way that isn't just me throwing it in, lore dumpy wise, into the session. That's, my hope is that the YouTube videos become that kind of thing. Because that's what I want. I want them to be a useful resource. And that's kind of what I want for every single video I make. I want each and every one of them to have some kind of extra use. Not just, something I make in an attempt to be entertaining, but also something useful. Because I think, that'd be nice for people. I think that'd be appealing, and also, I think it gives me more motivation to make them. Because I think having a bit of utility for these kind of things is nice. That's the plan anyway. That doesn't mean it's going to always work out. Excuse me. It doesn't mean it's going to work out, but obviously I'd like it to be something I can do on the regular. But again, it remains to be seen. It really does. But hey, it's something I'm working on. It's all part of the process, right? So, if there isn't a D&D session, then I'll make another lore primer. I'm hoping as well I get more used to using Vegas and other tools to improve my ability to make videos. And I'm hoping it's showing. I appreciate I'm not the best editor. I'm really not. And there's probably a variety of things I could do to improve my skills, and maybe not today because of just how tired I feel, but maybe another day when I get a chance I'll sit down and really try and learn more. I've got the basics, but I wanna get a bit better at this, right? I wanna get better at my craft. And I wanna make it fun at the end of the day. I want to be able to enjoy this hobby that I've started. And I am in many regards. I look forward to streaming. I look forward to being able to. I've got a little button, Streamlabs Vtuber Studio. I look forward to being able to press that button for any reason, really. Be it a little extra for a tweet, or be it like for this, for a stream, for a video. And I don't know. I'm thinking about different things I could do, because I think to get a bit philosophical here, but I feel like VTubing, it's a wonderful little niche, and I just think there's so many little areas that aren't being touched. There's so many areas that aren't being touched, and I just want to do more with it. I want to do more with it. I want to, see where I can take it. And look, I'm not saying this is going to never be a career. It may never be. But I think as long as I'm having fun, that's all I care about. And you know what? If people enjoy, following me along with this, then I can't ask for any better, can I? Really? That's the way I see it. That's why I appreciate even one person being here. Know that I do see you, and I appreciate you, by the way. But if there's no one, that's fine too. Because you know what? These become VODs, the VODs go on, and, the more I do this, the more I speak into a camera and speak to a mic, the more confident I get, the more comfortable I get, and hopefully the more me comes out. Because it's hard for me to be me. But once I start getting comfortable, then I can be more me. So, hey. We'll see. Obviously, there's lots of little bits of channel stuff I'm doing in the background, so... yeah, but I can get into it about that. I think, though, folks, I will probably end it off there. Again, my apologies for this being so short by stream standards, but I just... like I say, I just feel very exhausted, and my chest does feel a little tight, so I don't want to overdo it tonight. But I'd like to thank you all for joining me. I appreciate this was a bit short, a bit scuff, but scuff was in the little tags, so hey, at the very least you get what you want today. But thank you very much everyone for watching, been Talking Bell, and I will, of course, see you tomorrow for some Halo 3 ODST. Hoping I'm feeling better then. And that will be a more action-packed stream, I hope. But yeah, see you then. It's tough for now.